And then as soon as you get the confirmation that you'll see the little thing.
You're live.
Boom.
Play intro. Where's intro? Where's intro?
At the top. At the top is a gray button. Top right, above where the laptop stuff would be. All the way at the top. It's next to a red button.
Got you. Ha ha ha.
Quarter pounder. What is going on, everybody? Happy hump day and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every single weekday, we're coming at you live from our studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada with our daily live show. Today's content, we are covering the largest Bitcoin mining company files for bankruptcy. What does that mean for Bitcoin? What does that mean for the mining industry? What does that mean for the price? We'll discuss that. We're also going to be discussing Sam Bankman-Fried. Apparently, he's in the U.S., and he might even be in court today. We'll talk about that and much, much more. But before we can talk about that and much, much more, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-host. Hello, Robin.
Hola! Take it over because we got audio issues.
Audio issues?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it over. Give it to me. Give me the camera. Sound is weird. Guys, while we have our engineers fix the sound here, I just like to hop right in to Sam Bankman-Fried. And, or actually, here's what I'm going to hop into. It's pretty interesting, okay? So I'm going to share my laptop here. This is tweeted by Memeing Bitcoin. The 6 stages of Bitcoin. So on the left and on the right, you have at the height of the bull market, right? So in 2015, November 4th, Jamie Dimon says virtual currency will be stopped. Sorry, it's at the height of the bear market. And again, in 2017, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud that will eventually blow up. Then we move on to, on the left-hand side in the center, January 9th, 2018. Jamie Dimon says he regrets calling Bitcoin a fraud and believes in the technology behind it. And we have November 18th, 2020. Jamie Dimon says, it is not my cup of tea, referring to Bitcoin, even as JP Morgan has warmed to crypto. And then on the left, February of 2021, JP Morgan says investors could make Bitcoin 1% of their portfolios. And then finally, 2021, April, JP Morgan may offer actively managed Bitcoin funds. The reason I'm showing you this and I'm kind of talking about it is because this stuff happens every single cycle. Every cycle during bull markets, you got people coming out, crypto's the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, it's going to change the world. Everyone should add it to their portfolios, blah, blah, blah. But when stuff hits the fan, those same people come out and say, hey, crypto's bad. It's going to be the next cause of the financial collapse across the world. It's full of scams and fraudsters. Let me ask you a question, guys. What part of crypto that got these people excited has changed? The technology hasn't changed. When we're talking about the top projects, those haven't changed. In fact, they're growing. Polygon, growing. Cardano, growing. Avalanche, growing. What are your thoughts on that, Robin?
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than any other bear or bull market cycle. I mean, we have the over anticipation of what crypto is going to do, right? You have a scenario where crypto is going to replace everything. It's going to replace the soda machine. It's going to replace the cash register. It's going to replace social media. Video games are never going to be the same. And you know, I think it's foolish to think that. And yes, blockchain and cryptocurrency, disruptive technology, it is going to replace a lot of things. And so I think we got to be realistic on what to expect the horizon, or, you know, what to expect the landscape to look like.
When you say horizon, how long of a horizon? Are we talking?
No, what I'm saying, what I'm saying is that I think the the mainstream media, the general consensus of what crypto is going to change, I think, is overshooting in the bull market. I think to think that all music is going to be NFT, all art is going to be NFT, all contracts are going to be NFTs, all finance transactions are going to be
What
on the
about
blockchain.
voting?
I think that people think into voting I think that perhaps a large part of it will get
What
done.
would you
But-
say the next industry is to kind of adopt blockchain? You think it's supply chains? You think it's payment rails?
But hold on. To finish my point, answer your question, your original one, is that people expect more out of crypto than is realistically going to happen, right?
But why? Why though? Okay.
Because
You
that's what I'm saying.
realistically gonna happen.
Is that?
Is it because the technology's not here?
Do you think that all? Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think there will be any art outside of NFTs?
Yes.
Okay, but our industry doesn't think so. Our industry has this grand vision that everything's going to be NFTs and that's going to be the main market. Do you think the same thing for contracts? Do you think that there's going to be paper contracts and that if we decide to open a business that, or say somebody new opens up a business, that it's all going to be signed on a digital ledger and it's going to be on an NFT blockchain?
I mean, some industries don't have to be completely replaced, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It works. They can,
And
side by
so
side.
I think that the fact that crypto, the main narrative is that it makes everything better, I think is not realistic.
So what? Okay, is there an example in your mind that pops up that it doesn't make better?
That's-
The current system.
What I'm saying is that it's just too far reaching. It's like going to college and thinking that you're going to come out of college and you're going to take over the world and you're going to be the all your problems are going to be solved. You're overestimating the power of college. Like college is just another accolade to keep on your resume to prove that you have the baseline knowledge to get into the field. And it doesn't diminish the importance of college. I'm just saying it ain't the end all be all. And to bring this analogy over to crypto, it's good, but it's not the end all be all for every piece of technology. It doesn't need to replace everything. And the fact that like 90% of these projects that we hear are about going into different industries that might not need it. I just think that overbuilding on things that aren't going to realistically play out, building in sectors that aren't going to play out, or massive saturation in markets that aren't going to play out, whether it's in the NFT, the Web3, the gaming, or even in finance. DeFi is great, but you don't need DeFi on everything. Really don't. You know what? If I want to go and finance a car, like I'm going to have options in the future. No matter, even if you're 100 years from now, you're going to have options. You're going to have more of a traditional way of buying a car. You're going to have probably the more efficient way of buying a car. Doesn't mean it's all going to transition over. But the thing is,
but you kind of you went against yourself there. You said traditional way and a more efficient way. What company would not go with a more efficient way? Why would you still offer an old system that's not efficient when you can be efficient and save yourself and maybe your
because you have inefficiencies in everyday life. They still build houses with telephone lines in them. I got my house built and I was literally like, I don't want a telephone line. They were like, you are required by the state of Nevada to put a telephone line in. I was like, I don't want it. I will not use it. And I feel like it's inefficient to have it. But you need that outdated technology in there. It's mandated. And you know what? I go to my dad's house. He still has a freaking phone line and he has a phone and he pays for the phone service.
Exactly. So people are still using it. And it's not inefficient.
That's what I'm saying is that like, you're never going to get rid of it. You can still write a check if you want to. I can write you a check and I can mail it to you. You can go cash it. That is extremely outdated. What I'm saying is that
okay, that's a better example. I think that's a better example.
Crypto is in our space. People think that crypto is going to change every single facet of our life and everything is going to be integrated with crypto. It's not. You know what? It'll change a bunch of stuff. It'll change finance from top to bottom. It changes the move of value. And it seems at the moment to be a very good replacement for data storage because it can't be manipulated or erased once it's stored on the blockchain. So it has positives to it. But okay, here's an example.
I was going to say, let's just handbang Fried, but
here's an example. Like, okay, blockchain is transparent, right?
Mhm.
All right. Now, do you think employers are going to pay all their employees a blockchain eventually?
Possibly.
Now, what if you had a company and everyone's okay? So you have a company. Now, say they go and issue checks, right?
Mhm.
Now, with blockchain in its current format, so you could look at the issuer of the check, or say issuer of payment, which would be your employer. You could see what all your other coworkers make because you could just look at the employer's wallet and you can see all the transactions. And I can look at my coworker's transaction, wallet address, and I'm like, oh wow, he got paid $900. I got paid $700. That doesn't seem fair. And now I can see what every
that could be a good thing.
I can see what every person that works for that company makes. So there's a lack of privacy there. That's just one example where, like, I don't think that crypto fits every single box, and it fits a lot of boxes.
You know, you sound like Robin. You sound like our Congress.
Okay, so you think that a workplace that everybody should know what everybody's making?
Okay, what workplace do you work at, Robin, where majority of people don't know what they make? Every place I've ever worked at, I know exactly what everyone makes.
Well, yeah, you worked in the tipping industry.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, you work at a place that's corporate top to bottom, and you have somebody that worked there for 3 years, and they keep telling them like, oh hey, you take a job for say $80,000 a year, $70,000 a year. You think you got it good. The person that does less work than you, that works in the next booth over, is making $90K because they negotiated better during interview.
Well, then could you argue that that's a good thing? That it's public?
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
It's going to hold people accountable.
That crypto might not be the best fit for every piece of fintech in the future or just technology in general. I'm just saying that here's one example that could cause a conflict of interest inside of a company. And so when a company's weighing, hey, should we pay our employees in crypto? That's one example of where, hey, maybe it's not advantageous for us, even though it's more efficient and faster.
So you're saying, so you're talking from the company standpoint. I'm talking in a more general, hey, it's good for the workers because they know
you're questioning the idea of crypto replacing everything in finance when we started this. So I was giving you an example of where.
No, I asked what's the most like that
was just one example.
The one that's like, okay, this one's the first one.
I mean there's one there.
Supply chain's one. I think that's already supply chain's already happening. We're putting together a PowerPoint to give a presentation to some CFOs here in Vegas in the next few months. And the research I'm doing, there's tons. I mean, you guys, you should know how many companies are already starting to integrate blockchain into the supply chain. Real quick, I want to give a shout out. Yesterday, we celebrated Rocco's birthday, but today is his actual birthday. So Rocco, happy birthday, my friend. Also, Magic Internet Money was in here. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Magic Internet Money, go follow him. Leading Crypto, that is their YouTube channel. We were going to have him on the show again here coming soon. We're going to reach out to him. But yes, shout out to those guys. I want to move forward and not backward. And I'd like to move into the prices of crypto, Robin.
All right. So a little bit about price of Bitcoin. It's where it was the last, since the FTX crash, right? Somewhere between 16.7 and oh shoot, I'm not connected here. All right, you want to pull up the price?
I can.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, let's take a look at CMC. Dynamo. All right, so market cap 808 billion. If you're from Hawaii, put a 1 in the chat because we got 808 up in here. 24-hour volume still extremely low, coming in at $27.5 billion. Sorry, let me go back to here. Bitcoin dominance at 40% again. ETH dominance has slipped down to 18.3%. like Robin did mention, Bitcoin coming in at 16,800. If we swap over to the Bitcoin 4-hour chart, so I drew a horizontal line at 16,300, and I think this is an extremely key level for Bitcoin when it comes to support. Take a look at what price has done around this range. We crossed under it during the FTX crash and had an immediate spike up, right? Candle crossed below, closed, candle crossed above, closed. Traded, closed below again. This was on Sunday, November 13th. Sunday, November 13th, and shot right back up again. This was called a V-shaped recovery. Same thing a few days later. This is the only instance I can find where we spent a decent amount of time. And when I say decent, I mean 2 days. From November 20th through November 22nd. We spent 2 days underneath the $16,300 level for Bitcoin. Moving forward to the 27th of November, we spent just 1 day under 16,300. And the latest one we wicked down here, this was on December 19th, shot right back up. So 16,300, of course, is not financial advice. If I'm a swing trader or I'm looking to get into a short-term trade, I would look to buy Bitcoin to get in at 16,300. It has shown that it is extremely strong support. Even if it has dipped below it, it's shot right back up. So yeah. Taking a look at the rest of the markets, we have ETH coming in at $1,210, BNB coin $247. That is down 9.2% over the last 7 days. A lot of news around Binance, around BNB. People are saying way too much of their collateral is BNB coin. They're trying to get their hands on financials. And of course, Binance not being a publicly traded company. And also what's important to note, they've had no funding rounds for 3-4 years, which means their financial documents no financial document has been out in the open since 2018. And so typically, if you're not a publicly traded company, you don't have to submit financials to regulators. If you do a funding round and you try to raise money, those investors, potential investors, they want to see your financials. And so that's how some of that information gets circulated. But Binance hasn't had one. And so no one knows what percentage of loans are collateralized in BNB. That's the uncertainty around Binance that people are a little worried about. Rounding up the top 10, we have XRP, Doge, Cardano, and Polygon, which of course I mean Polygon. If we take a look at the Polygon chart, so this is the daily chart on Polygon. We seem to be in a descending triangle, which does typically break to the downside. If we hop over to Crypto Stackers Pro, I have the Sunset levels on here. So this essentially measures risk to reward. I took the high, essentially the all-time high of $2.70, and I took a low. The low I picked was back in December of 2020, and it was right around, I want to say, 1.4 cents. And so if we take a look at the levels this has given us, where we've seen resistance at the 2-to-1, call it the long level, but we have seen support as well on the 3-to-1 long level. So if this triangle does break to the downside, we can expect to meet some support right around 69 cents. Do with that information as you please. You got any thoughts on that, Rob, before I talk about this cool little chart over here? No, we're not. How long do you expect the markets to go sideways, right?
Okay. I don't have the charting kind of insight on it. I don't spend my time in front of the charts like you do. But my personal sentiment, what I believe is that it may be longer of a bear market than people than expectations.
What personal sentiment? What is your personal sentiment based on? Is it based on news you're reading? Is it based on
So first of all, know that every bear market that we've had before, at the depths of the bear market, you feel deflated, you feel punched in the gut, you feel like the crypto industry is gonna struggle to bounce back, if ever. That's kind of the narrative. And so I'm not here to squash the idea that crypto is not going to rally back. I just think that with these cascading bankruptcies, you have this contagion effect that has come from FTX. It hasn't completely played out through the system. I don't think so. At least not as of yet. And we have some big names like Genesis. We also got DCGE or Digital Currency Group, or who knows, perhaps another large exchange were to go under. I think that we are not in the clear for insolvency and companies going under. And for that reason, I think that that puts puts the brakes on, man, for a rally, right? For a real long-term bull market rally where you're just continuously making new local highs and then eventually more all-time highs. I think that it might be another 6 months before we even bottom, right? The bottom might have went in. We might have bottomed, but you know what? We're right there. And so we're not far off from the local bottom, or from the bottom since the lowest since 2020, right? Was it January 2020 or something like that?
I'm not 100% sure.
Anyways, whenever Bitcoin was last at the 16K mark. Here, let me take a look at the all-time. I got my my computer back, by the way. So let's see here. Yeah, we haven't been at levels like this since December
2020.
December 2020. Actually, no, before that, November 2020. And so, how long is it going to be? How much longer is this bear market going to be? I think it's going to be extended, man. I really do.
Did you guys see this comment?
What?
Phil Collins pulling his hair out at the prospect of Genesis going bankrupt.
Yeah. And so
I don't think Rob got that.
Phil Collins?
Yeah.
Was his band. Never mind.
Love in the Air Tonight? Right? Is that him?
Yeah, Genesis was his band.
Yeah.
Ah, got it. Yeah. I don't even know.
Kind of went over my head a little bit too.
Yeah,
I just laughed to make it seem like I understood. Yeah, that's so funny in my head. I'm like, what?
Anyway, so I think at the end of the day, we are in unseen territory. We don't know where we're gonna go when it comes to cycles. I question everything, man. I don't know if we're gonna go into like, who's to say we come out of the Bitcoin halving and we go right into another bull market? In traditional finance, you have short-term cycles all encompassed in long-term cycles. And so you have big recessions in the US economy, right? Or global economy. You generally have a recession every 10 to 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we have a recession in crypto every 10 to 15 years. And in that 10 to 15 year cycle, which right where crypto is, you have cycles inside of it.
I don't know. I'm more like, if I were to agree with you as far as, and I do agree with you that I think this bear market is going to be a little longer, but it's because of different reasons. It's because through the entire life and inception of Bitcoin and crypto, we've been in a loose monetary policy, right? Since 2008, but nothing but rate cuts, quantitative easing, money printing. That's been the entire life cycle of crypto and Bitcoin. And so it's flourished. We're seeing now with monetary policy tightening, quantitative tightening, and rate hikes instead of rate cuts, what's the landscape going to look like? That's the unknown. And if anyone tells you they know how crypto is going to react or how crypto is going to do, they're lying to you, because no one knows. No one knows. But it's interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to see a longer bear market than we've ever seen before? Put a 1 in the chat. If you think it's going to be business as usual, the halving comes around, bull market full force ahead, we don't look back until the next bear market 4 years from now, put a 2 in the chat. 1, longer bear market. 2, same business.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you should, regardless of what your thoughts are, you should at least plan for both scenarios, right? You shouldn't go all in with the expectation of bull market coming after the halving. You really shouldn't. And even if, or you shouldn't think on the other end, like, hey, the bear market is going to stretch out. Like, you should be planning for both. Now, if you have a long-term hodl perspective, it really doesn't matter. You're kind of hedging your bet against either, because it doesn't really matter, right? Unless you're trying to physically sell at a certain point and you're trying to determine what's your best exit position or exit price, then yeah, that might. But if you just have a long-term mentality, it doesn't really matter.
Speaking of stretching out, when was the last time you did you stretched? Whether it's you got up in the morning or do you ever stretch? I just remember back in high school, my coach used to always tell me stretching is the most important thing you can do outside of working out. You believe in that, Robin?
I believe water is the most important thing. No, I'm serious, man.
Well, obviously,
no, I don't mean to physically live. I'm just saying that your consumption, how much water you drink, and the quality of water that you drink is people don't take into account. People just buy whatever bottled water from whatever store they get, discount the amount of plastics that are floating around in that bottle. You know what I mean? And then they if you drink water without minerals, that's one of the lifelines to your body, bro.
It is the lifeline to your body, because without water you would have no life.
No, I mean the transportation vehicle. When you drink water, generally, back in the day, before there was bottled water and plumbing system, you would drink from a river or stream, and you get natural minerals that are in there.
Natural
and
salt.
all of those minerals are now stripped because of distillation processes. So
we're about to start distilling the ocean. Anyways, let's get back to crypto. So
get some good water, bro.
Yeah, get some good water. All right, so I have crypto rank pulled up here, and let me make this a little larger for you folks.
Real quick, right before you get into it, let me just give a shout out to the chat. We do got a few new people here. So we got The Right, Satoshi Nakamoto, Quo S, Matthew B. We got Dennis J, Guanaco. We got Tyler B, Tug Eye, Damir K, Crunk C, Nas Nas, ICP Millionaire. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Rob, Frankie Legend said no bull market until the Fed starts printing money again. What are your thoughts on that?
No like button in our chat. First of all, he says so. No bull market till when?
Fed starts printing money.
I think there's validity to that. For the simple fact that you probably won't get a bull market in the traditional finance till that happens as well. And I still believe in the correlation between traditional finance and crypto, or at least with risk on stocks. And so nobody's piling in on risk on stocks at the moment. And I think a lot of it is because of the monetary policy. And so when you loosen the monetary policy, you print more money, you inject more capital into the system, which then gets funneled into investments. I think that's when you see crypto rallying. So
we'll see. All right, let's move on. So this is from CryptoRank.io. And these are out of the top 100 coins in order of who is the most off of their all-time high in terms of percentage. Of course, Terra Luna. Some interesting ones, though. ICP is 99.2% off its all-time high. All-time high price was $461, currently sitting at $3.68. Filecoin, 98.8% off its all-time high. Flow, 98.2% off its all-time high. I'm just going to highlight some of the bigger ones. Algorand, 96.3% off its all-time high, and Solana, 95.4% off its all-time high. So, Robin, just real quick.
What was at the top of the list? Just see those
Luna
again.
Classic.
Okay, but which ones are relevant now?
Okay, so I'm going to give you these ones, okay? ICP, Filecoin, Flow.
So ICP is the big standout because they're the largest project and they're down the most, right?
But did they only get to 461 all-time high because of the manipulation that was going on with Alameda?
Well, there's that. Now they also had a crazy high valuation on their token price when it first came out. Right? It was like $400, right?
460.
Yeah. So
wasn't there one that came out? It was like 700 something. Bless you. Someone that came out was like $700. Anyways, my question to you, and try to make.
You see, but I don't. But here's the one thing is with ICP, I don't consider 400 their all-time price. I think that was a misconstrued number. I think when I think of all-time high, I think of like you released a token at, say, let's just give an example. You released your token for your project at $3, and then it got to 25, and then now we're in the bear market, you're down to whatever.
You're saying you think that ICP values themselves more than others do?
They didn't create the value. They didn't
the
set the
market
price.
makers did.
The market makers did. Now they might have been
Which
in
was
talks with the
Alameda.
market makers, and you know what? The market makers obviously got the price wrong, and in turn, the market makers failed.
I don't
which
know if
was
they got it
Alameda.
wrong versus getting manipulating. You know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They probably got the price wrong on purpose, and then
So
manipulated.
isn't that a bigger
the,
risk to invest in? Because you don't really know what their all-time. What if their all-time high? What if their high should have been $20?
I'm just saying that their all-time high is not the all-time high for ICP is not the same as the all-time high for Cardano.
Correct.
Cardano's all-time high was $3. ICP's all-time high was $400. Completely different because the price just didn't match what the token was actually trading for. And so Casper's the same way. Casper had a that's why they're at the top of the list. Casper's token sale was one of the biggest in history. And there was so much money in there, was so much buzz. And then right after it launched, the price just tanked. It never came back. And so if you're looking in those metrics, I want to know which projects are in the all-time that are off their all-time highs that hit their all-time highs when they were in the bull market. Like
This is Casper's ICO, by the way. These are all their ICOs. They held they held a seed, 2 privates, 4 ICOs, and they raised some VC funds as well, 14 million in VC funds. So, and here was a token allocation. So
yeah.
just to put it in
So
perspective.
my concern is, hey, which projects are off their all-time highs drastically, and they hit those all-time highs in the bull market. Now with that said, I'm not trying to discount ICP by any means. I think that's one of the most undervalued projects there is, period. I think it's the next Solana of the next. I think it's the Solana of the next bull market. It has corporate integration. It has. But
they're literally
investment.
trying to change the internet.
Yeah, but
I think that's going to take some time.
But I mean, they're no. They have a very similar kind of business model as like Hedera Hashgraph. I just think that it's a little bit more accommodating, the blockchain style that is ICP, to institution and corporate investors. And I think the corporate investors have left Solana's ecosystem, and I think they're going to pile in onto a new chain. And I think it's going to be Hedera, and I think it's going to be ICP. And you don't agree?
I don't know. I don't know if ICP, like I said, I think ICP is trying to do something bigger than any of these other ones are trying to do. And they're trying to literally just upend the entire internet. So I'm not saying they're not going to, I'm not going to say
they're trying to take the lead on Web3.
I just think it's going to take some time.
I get it. If you try to boil it down, hey, they're trying to replace the internet. Okay, sure. We're trying to replace television, in YouTube. Like
We're not trying to replace YouTube. We are YouTube.
It sounds like, you're trying to make it seem like their plan is too crazy. Like,
it's not
hey, they're
crazy.
trying to replace.
Take time.
No, they're just trying to make a better, faster internet option, and it's strictly Web3. So ICP is trying to make a better Web3, and they're trying to be the leader in it. And I am in agreement. I'm in the side that Web3 is going to replace a lot of Web2. And so investing in the leaders of Web3, I think is probably one of the smartest moves you can have for the next bull market. Because I think the next bull market, you're going to get a shift in companies moving from old internet to new internet, bro.
Speaking of leaders, Marky Mark is leading the charge with a $20 super chat. Said, happy birthday, Don Rocco. Have a pastry and cappuccino on the Sin City crypto community. Mark, will you send an extra $1? Because Rocco does like spoons. He likes to eat his frappuccinos. And so we need to cover the spoon price as well. Kidding, of course. All right, let's jump into the biggest news of the day, the theme of our thumbnail, the theme of our title. It is the largest Bitcoin miner, Core Scientific, is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but plans to keep mining. Good news. Core Scientific, one of the largest publicly traded crypto mining companies, they are the leader in hash rate for Bitcoin, is filing for Chapter 11 protection in Texas. They did this early Wednesday morning, aka today. Core's market cap had fallen to $78 million, down from $4.3 billion. $4.3 billion value down to $78 million. That has got to be one of the largest. I mean, that to me, that's crazy. The company's still generating positive cash flow, but that cash is not sufficient to repay the financing debt owed on equipment it was leasing. The company will not liquidate, but will continue to operate normally while reaching a deal with senior security note holders, which hold the bulk of the company's debt. Guys, this isn't anything out of the ordinary. Corporations do this all the time. Airlines have done it. Pepsi has done it. Other companies have done it. This is just a way to reorganize the structure of debt of the company. But again, if you remember, Robin, we were having this conversation a long time ago. And I told you they weren't going to have to liquidate their miners. But all jokes aside, jokes aside, this is obviously good. Core Scientific gets to stay in business. They, again, not sure if currently they have the most hash power, but at one point they did, and they might still to this day. What are your thoughts on this whole Core Scientific scenario? Obviously, this seemed like it was their only option, right?
I mean, if you only got $70 million and you're off, well, how much was it? How many billion?
So valuation 4.8.
4.8 billion
down to 78 million.
Yeah. So, anyways, you have
4.3.
You got a lot of loans you've taken out for those miners, and so you have interest payments and obviously operating costs. And we know that the profit margin on mining crypto is significantly down at the moment. So, I'd expect there's going to be more miners going through the same issue, right? Core Scientific can't be alone on this. Core Scientific can't be the only miner to have bought overpriced ASICs during the bull market and bought it with a loan. If you have interest payments on these loans.
Here's the thing, though, right? If they've done it, Core Scientific has been, from my research, the only company, well, outside of Compute North, they weren't really, they were more of a kind of facilitator, right? Riot's not filing bankruptcy. Marathon's not filing for bankruptcy.
But what I'm saying is that they've all borrowed money to buy miners. So
was Core Scientific not smart with their money?
They probably just borrowed more than they obviously borrowed more than they were able to repay in the bottom of a bear market, with the hash rate being high and the price of Bitcoin being where it is. Profit margins have slipped, and if your expenditures or your how much you need to pay every month to stay afloat, if you don't bring enough money to cover it, it's a no-brainer what's going to happen here. And to think that none of these other companies have taken on debt and have a smaller profit margin that can't cover debt, or operating costs that can't cover debt, then I'm sorry, man, they're the biggest. So, I mean, think about this. First of all, they're the biggest. So they got the best deals on buying ASICs at a package. They probably got the best interest rate loans compared to their competitors, right? You go buy 10 computers. See how much it costs. And then go buy 10,000 computers. See how much it costs per unit. You're going to get a better deal on 10,000.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that if they can't make their payments, and they're the biggest borrower, and they probably got the best deals. So how many other miners are underwater because...
So you're trying to say there's going to be more miners that do this?
Yeah. Core Scientific definitely, they blew up out of nowhere. There was hardly anybody that grew as fast as Core Scientific. What we got here? We said we got a $50 super chat from Crypto Billy,
our whale member.
Yeah, he said, "Merry Christmas! Glad to celebrate Rocco's birthday. Thanks for the education on the stream. Glad you went all in and did it right. Equipment minus the desk. So, if you got a desk emoji, throw that in.
I guess Jimmy's not here, so someone's got to fill in, right? In all seriousness, thank you for the love, guys. We appreciate it.
So it makes me question."
How many other companies are underwater?
Solvency, or basically the ability to to operate for these miners right now. If they paid more than Core Scientific did for their miners, they have higher interest payments than Core Scientific did. What else is the miners going to look like? And that's why I believe that the contagion effect, that is the Bitcoin price dropping, that is FTX going under, these liquidations between different companies where, hey, we're not going to pay you back because we're filing for bankruptcy. I don't think that's even close to done.
Well,
and I think we're starting to now see it. Now it's the biggest miner in crypto was Core Scientific. The biggest. Not one of the biggest. Literally the largest crypto miner just filed bankruptcy. Let that sink in where we're at right now.
They're restructuring, bro. Leave them alone.
And I still don't believe they're not going to liquidate my ASICs, bro. I know they publicly said it, but they don't get to choose that. When you go to a bankruptcy court, you are at the discretion of the lawyer and how he wants it.
You get a
say. You can come up with a business model. You can say, this is what we're going to do. This is the negotiation we had. This is what we plan on doing. But you know what? If the creditor on the other end is like, we don't accept those terms.
Bro,
we want this amount of money. They have our units over there.
If Celsius is able to keep their miners to mine Bitcoin, I'm sure that Core Scientific can't do.
Was not mining crypto. They invested in it a little bit, but that's not their baseline business model. And so when they didn't have capital, they don't have. Okay, Core Scientific probably has, I would say, $1 billion worth of ASICs sitting in all of their warehouses. So when you're looking to
did Delta have to sell their airlines, their airplanes? No, they didn't. Because you can prove to the bankruptcy court.
Maybe they did.
No, they didn't. Research it. They
Which
didn't.
One?
Delta.
Which one?
Delta did not have to sell any airplanes when they did their restructuring. The point is this: you go to a bankruptcy court, a bankruptcy judge, and you say, "Hey, the reason we're filing for bankruptcy is because of an unforeseen event. You can call it FTX, you can call it Celsius, you can call it a bear market. This is our plan. This is how we're operating when everything was steady. And black swan event happened, and now we're down, but we will come back into profit. Just let us continue to mine Bitcoin. They'll probably renegotiate their monthly payments that they have to pay to these creditors. But at the end of the day, would you rather have Core Scientific liquidate and sell their miners at a steep discount and take a 30% haircut for the creditors, or would you rather them keep it, mine the Bitcoin,
I'm not saying rather anything. I'm just saying that if you think that it's impossible that a judge says, okay, you owe them, you owe $3 billion to these companies. Let's say they owe $2 billion. Say they owe $1 billion, whatever it is. They owe an exorbitant amount of money to a creditor. You think it's out of the realm of possibility that the lawyer will be like, okay, well, sell some of your ASICs to pay the debt.
Okay, but it's extremely improbable, but nothing's impossible. But if I'm a creditor, okay, and David, I believe in Core Scientific,
let me ask you a
what
question.
Fundamentally about the business has changed outside of the price of Bitcoin? And so it's not like they went and did some dumb, or it's like a Celsius where they were, they weren't doing right by the customers. Everything stayed the same. Their business model is the same. The only variable has changed is the price of Bitcoin. And so you can argue, if you're a creditor, I can say, listen, dude, the price, you believe in Bitcoin and mining when you invested in our company. The only thing that's changed when our business model has been the price of Bitcoin. You believe that's going to come back, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. Why would we sell our miners at a steep discount?
The price of Bitcoin doesn't change the fact that they owe people money. And you know what? If I let you borrow $10,000 and you buy, let's say I let you borrow $100,000 and you buy 10 cars, you go buy 10 cars with the money I lend you, and then you don't pay any of it back. What happens? What happens? Do you think it's out of the realm of possibility for a judge to say, okay, well, sell 8 of your cars to pay back your
Chapter
debt?
7 bankruptcy, yeah, they can do that. But this is not Chapter 7. This is a restructuring bankruptcy.
I get it. But in part of restructuring and part of negotiation, all I'm saying is that It is on the table that they're forced
Says
to
who?
liquidate.
Says who? Robin?
Says the judge.
The judge did not say shit. They haven't had a meeting yet.
They haven't. But what I'm
The
saying,
judge is not going to say you're going to sell your ASICs, dude.
So you don't think? So you're
No,
saying
it's restructuring of debt. Restructuring of debt. Just like with credit cards. If you can't pay your payment, you call them, hey, I can't make $500 payments. Can we do $250 payments? They say, sure. Versus you saying, okay, then I'll just let it go and declare bankruptcy. Also, big thank you to ICP Millionaire. Was it a $5 super chat? What did it say again? You can end the scene. Your future self would thank you for ICP. This is your sign. Also love the show. We love you as well, ICP Millionaire. Well, I love you. Robin doesn't love anyone, but Larry the Bird, that's his favorite. All right. What do you guys think? Are you with me or are you with Robin? Are you with me or are you with Robin? If you're a member of this channel, put Robin's emoji if you're with Robin. Or put mine if you're with me. If you're not, put a 1 for David, 2 for Robin. 1 for David, 2 for Robin. Who are you with? Who do you agree with? What do you guys think? I'm curious. All right. Here's what I wanted to show. This is a chart from Glassnode. This is the difficulty regression model for Bitcoin. So purple line is the regression model. White line is the price of Bitcoin. And on the bottom here, you have kind of like a histogram. I don't know if that's the right word. So green is when the difficulty price is larger than the spot price of Bitcoin, which is bad. And the red is where difficulty price is less than the spot price of Bitcoin. And this thing just flipped green. And so right now, you are underwater if you're mining Bitcoin, as far as difficulty goes. And this has been a trend. Anytime price has crossed below this difficulty regression model, we have been in a bear market. 2018 of June, again, 2019 going into 2020. And then, of course, we rise above this regression model in bull markets, and now we have crossed below it. How long will we stay below it? Who knows? But Rob and I both agree we're probably going to be range bound for at least, very least, the next 3 to 4 months, if not longer, which I believe we'll be doing a lot. Let's move on to what I mentioned earlier. Sam the Man is back in the US of A. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, US of A, is set to return to the US on Wednesday, which is today. He signed extradition documents in the Bahamas and is scheduled to return to the U.S. on Wednesday, said the Bahamas Acting Commissioner of Corrections. Sam is expected to appear at a Bahamian court on Wednesday morning, U.S. time, and will fly to the U.S. on a federal aircraft later that day. Sam's legal team is reportedly in talks with U.S. prosecutors for him to be released on a bail deal. Do you think this is a net positive, Robin, that he's going to the U.S.?
It's an inevitability. He's getting
we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen, but for the people that want him to stay in jail, this is a negative, right? I mean, they're already negotiating a plea.
I mean, he's going to go to jail. He's got 6 federal indictments or charges on him. He's going to jail. Like, he's not going to be found innocent of all those.
But what if he's out on bail? And then
that's natural. You go to court. You get charged with a
denied him
crime.
bail
You get
in
out
the
on bail.
Bahamas.
Huh?
They denied him bail in the Bahamas.
That's the Bahamian government. Like, why would he stay there? He could get denied bail here, but more than likely he'll be. If for him to apply for bail, he'll have to forfeit his passports, and yeah, from there he's gonna have no legal way of leaving. I mean, he could legally leave, but I don't think that's possible. He's not gonna leave. He's too high profile of an individual. And you can look at all these high profile individuals, especially in our finance space that were out on bail.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think you think he's that big of a flight risk?
That's the whole reason. What was the point of that? Just you want to flash Vegas gold nights? He's like, I'm ready.
Red man, but I'm with Raiders and VGK. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
Well, I'm like I lose my train of thought very easily. So now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Robin?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Okay, here's what I was trying to say. It's safe to say they're probably going to be a little easier on him in the U. Well, people are saying they'll be easier on him here in the U.S. because of his tie to these politicians and the money he's donated and Gary Gensler and blah 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 blah.
I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. But the prison in Bahamas, I'm sure, is not quite to the standards of the American prisons. You know, we have a lot of human rights. I mean, I'm being honest. There's a lot of push for human rights, especially when it comes to inmates.
I heard there's a killer
there's
vegan
a
menu, too.
giant population. There's some crazy amount of American population. So
And I heard they have a really good vegan menu.
percentage of
Cucumbers grown outside the jail cell, right by the basketball courts. You hear about that?
what's that?
Nothing. Oh, man.
So
Organic.
Yeah, it's organic.
0.7% of the United States is currently in prison.
0.7% of the whole country?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And so that's so it's 639 people out of every 100,000. And so anyways,
So about 2.5 million people are in jail or in prison. 2.6 million.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so anyways, there's a lot more. It's a way better environment in our prison than it is in the jail system in
It's funny,
Bahamas.
Sam
And so, yeah,
wasn't
he doesn't want to be there.
he wasn't going to sign extradition papers, right? Or
And I think he
and
would,
then he was there for 2 days. He's like, "Oh, please, I'll sign them."
he is definitely a flight risk in the Bahamas, right? Don't you agree?
From the Bahamas? So
Yeah,
you're
if
saying
he-
once
if
he's
he's-
in the
if he-
US and on bail, out on bail, you're saying he's not a flight risk?
No.
But what changes
Because
if
he's
in the-
easily trackable. I think he's going to have a hard time getting to the airport and getting on an airplane. While if he's in the Bahamas, I think that he could leave there and go to another country that he could hide or escape. The U.S.
that could be true. I just don't know how.
I mean, when you look at Do Kwon, he's on the run, right?
yeah,
And
Al Davies and those
yeah,
guys.
so you could look at those examples as, hey, if you're not in the U.S., you can go to certain areas that you can conceal your whereabouts. And I think if he wasn't in a Bahamian prison after facing charges, he's probably pretty likely to get the hell out of there. Now, I think it'd be a lot harder to do here in the U.S. I think he's such a high-profile character that if he tried to get on in an airport, I think everybody would notice that big old bushy
I don't
head
know.
of his.
Well, I mean, it's easier shaving your head. You're trying to escape, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
saying,
you
get on-
got those cameras, bro. They be digitalizing your face, man.
If it was on blockchain, it would. See, Robin, every blockchain does solve everything. All right, I want to move on to some Celsius news.
You see, Forrest is in here.
Forrest,
Yeah.
my man. Guys, Crypto Stackers, that's Forrest, our friend. Go follow him on YouTube, on Twitter. He comes on our show every single, he's part of this channel. He comes on our show every single Friday. Forrest, can't wait for Friday. All right, Celsius news, update. They amassed 30 potential bidders for its assets and withdrawal motion has been approved. Celsius Network has attracted 30 potential bidders for its various assets, including its retail platform and mining business. Celsius said that so far it has received multiple offers, multiple proposals, a variety of potential transactions and business structures to acquire their assets, such as migrating Celsius customers to the acquirer's platform, along with a haircut of their assets. This is what Sam and FTX had planned on doing before with Voyager, obviously before stuff hit the fan. It goes on to say the latest presentation notes that as of November 25th, the company held crypto, the company being Celsius, held crypto valued at approximately $2.6 billion. But even after this, is combined with all its non-crypto assets, Celsius is still 1.2 billion short of being able to pay off their debts. Its ongoing mining operations have been successful, however, with Celsius claiming that it has generated positive operating cash flow every month this year as it continues to deploy more mining rigs. So, I mean, I don't have much comment on this one. Would you like to see an FTX style bailout what they were planning on doing with Voyager, where they sell the assets and the customer, information to, let's say, Binance or Coinbase, and those assets now go on Coinbase and you just take a 30-40% haircut, but you are now on the Coinbase platform? Should they be liquidate? Like, well, what?
I mean,
you say?
through the bankruptcy process, somebody's going to pick up the assets, and that is going to go back to investors, credited investors first, and then unsecured and credit investors second, or last, actually. And so People are going to get paid back. So I think this is just a question of when to see your money back and how much you're going to get back. And I don't know. Is there more to read into that?
You know,
did you see that Binance was buying Voyager?
Yeah. 1.2. I think 1.2 billion or something like that.
Yeah. Which
you know
I think that is a lot more interesting.
You know what's funny, Robin? Here, go back to the article. Celsius claims it has generated positive operating cash flow from their mining, and they want to deploy more rigs. You have the largest mining company in Bitcoin, well, largest by hash rate, filed for bankruptcy. And Celsius, the bankrupt company, they're doing so well that they're expanding.
Yeah, it's probably because Celsius isn't paying the creditors that they got the miners from. So they probably have the miners at.
And look,
they probably have
4 months later, they're able to still keep their miners. That's what I'm saying, bro. I think they'll be able to keep their miners and continue mining.
But their business model wasn't on miners. And the capital that they lost and the reason they're underwater is because of mismanagement of funds. Different business model.
We'll see. It'll all play out soon, my friends. Stay tuned. Let's move on to Binance. Binance joins U.S. Lobby Group Executive Committee. This is a source from The Block. Binance is joining the Executive Committee of the Chamber of Digital Commerce, which is a U.S. lobby group for the blockchain industry. Binance will contribute to research and potentially influence the shape of crypto legislation through discussions with policymakers and regulators. The crypto giant joins traditional finance firms like Visa and Deloitte, as well as blockchain firms such as Circle and OKCoin. The exchange's U.S. unit, Binance US, has been on the executive committee since 2020. A lot of people are saying this has got Sam Bankman-Fried vibes to it.
Dude, everything. Okay, so Binance says they're going to buy Voyager. Binance is lobbying legislation in Congress. Binance has questions on their proof of reserves.
Binance cut
Binance.us is being questioned for having funds moving from their parent company to Binance.us, which are supposed to be segregated. Not by law, but generally speaking, two separate companies are supposed to have two separate assets and businesses, and in their businesses are supposed to have different. But here's the thing. You could also say, just in this regard, you can also easily say that, hey, Binance borrows from KuCoin. KuCoin borrows from Coinbase. And money moves around naturally. So if you can move some asset, if you need some Bitcoin to provide liquidity in the US market, and you have extra Bitcoin sitting in a wallet at the base company, it would make sense to move those over. But now, if it's customer funds that are moving and not treasury assets, then that's where you get this is same situation that we had before. And the problem right now is that we don't have the transparency to understand which assets are moving around from the parent company to the U.S. subsidiary.
Well, we know a lot of stable coins were moved. I think like 1.8 billion or something. But a lot of people are saying this has got FTX vibes. This has got Sam Bankman-Fried vibes.
That's three things. Like I said, congressional influence, political influence. You have the purchasing of bankrupt companies, or at least the effort to do so. And then you have the question behind what is backing the
balance sheet.
The balance sheet. What is is the balance sheet in order?
To be fair and play devil's advocate, they did process over $5 billion in withdrawals in one day. Yeah, and everything was fine. So
I'm still in the camp of Binance. It will be here in the next bull market. Binance, I do not think they're going to go under. I do not think they're going to be insolvent. But at the same time, there is some eerie similarities, and I wouldn't wake up and grab my dog and be like, I can't believe they went under.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it would be another, I would be surprising, but it wouldn't be anything where I'm just like, I never thought for a million years Binance would go under. I have a strong inclination that they'll be fine. But hey, you know what? If they went under, wouldn't be that shocking. Put it that way.
Robin, do you have a diploma?
Yeah.
Do you have a high school diploma?
I have
One of
a
our
college degree as well.
One of our community members was wondering.
Yeah, I have a college
Do
degree.
these hosts even graduate high school? I did, actually. I was top of my class. Thank you very much.
Somebody trolls throwing shade at us?
That's
Is that what's
okay.
happening?
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm not the smartest person, but, you know, it is what it is.
We'll take the engagement.
We'll take it.
Thanks for.
We still love you,
coming to the
Nevesees.
chat.
Yes, we both have our high schools. Robin also has his college diploma. I don't, but, you know. All right. Let's move on to, I feel like Robin is going to get a kick out of this.
Real quick, though, I just want to take an intermission here to give some love to the chat. Now, we got some new people in here. We got Door Gunner, Frankie, L, Joe, Taylor, Benny, Blue Eyes, Dashing B, Tiesu, Chris Fernandez, Jesse K, Cebu Coop, the great Alex Diaz, Scallywag, and then
Scallywag?
Scallywag. Yeah, Scallywag. Samuel, DK, Graham, Chris Fernandez, Jessica, About Last Night, the great. And then we got our supreme hater. What was his name? Nemesis, right?
Nevesees. Maybe
Never
he's
sees.
genuinely curious.
And YFW Crypto. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
yeah. Listen, one thing I'll tell you guys. Rob and I both, all of us, Kyler, Robin, me, and Rocco, we come from the restaurant industry. We have extremely thick skin. It's going to take a lot more to get under our skin than
Also, you know, if you handle a lot of hot frying pans, you develop these calluses.
Yeah.
You can just grab,
I got calluses
you can
on my
grab hot plates and you can just hold them.
I got heart calluses.
They can be
because I've been
1,000
holding
degrees.
so much in my heart.
And you can just hold a stack of hot plates and you can
Yeah.
just be like, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
So your words don't get through them skin either.
This article. So, okay, USDN, right, Robin? The neutrino stablecoin, algorithm, the stablecoin. By the way, let's just take a look at where it's at. It's the one that depegged down to 40 cents or 52 cents. And that is one on that's by Waves. So let's take a look at where it's at today. Happy Hanukkah, by the way, if you are from the Jewish community. Happy Hanukkah. 50 cents. 50 cents, okay? So let's go back to the article. Waves founder announces new stablecoin as USDN depegs. Sasha Ivanov, which is the founder and CEO of Waves, is planning to launch a new stablecoin amid the ongoing crisis of the Waves-backed stablecoin Neutrino, USDN. I will launch a new stablecoin, he wrote, adding that there is going to be a USDN situation resolution plan set in motion. Before that, he stressed that nothing new will be launched or announced until the USDN one that's depegged, their resolution is set in motion. Ivanov also promised that the stablecoin will be undepeggable. He told Cointelegraph that the new stablecoin would be a hybrid between an algorithmic stablecoin and assuming a asset-backed stablecoin. It will be based on the decentralized autonomous organization model, aka DAO. It will be implemented using an approach which is native to Waves and cannot be implemented on other chains. One of the biggest reasons for the USDN crash is that the current model is not attuned to the current market conditions, adding that more robust models should be developed. Go ahead, Robin.
So, like, why?
Like, why?
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 Like, why are you making more? First of all, you got a burnt track record.
That's like Mashinsky coming out saying, look, Celsius is on their butt. I'm going to launch another centralized finance platform, guys. I'm going to do it differently. We were over leveraged on this one, but I promise on the next one, it's going to be better. Come on, man. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. I think that a stablecoin issuer is has similar characteristics to a central bank, right? Right. At its core value. You know, central banks also offer a little bit more of money services on the institute or between banks, right? As far as lending, but at its core value, you know, the central banks share a lot of similarities between the stablecoin issuers. And the one thing that central banks have is that they're huge and they have tons of liquidity.
Huge.
Would you trust? Would you trust a central bank, if somebody said, hey, we're going to be a central bank, and they were out of, say, a small state like Rhode Island, and they only had, say, $5 billion worth of capital to operate their central bank. I know this is outside of how they actually function. I get that, but I'm just trying to give a comparative. Like, it wouldn't be realistic. They wouldn't have the liquidity to stabilize their own market, right? And so if you're going to, so where I'm getting at is that if you're going to offer stablecoin services, you need to have a massive amount of liquidity on the back end to stabilize your token, right? Or at least a ton of market share. And, you know, so it's easily manipulated especially in algorithmic coin, easily manipulated if it doesn't have a ton of market cap and money locked up in it. It's just the basic, simple economics. That's it. Well, if here's a good example. If you have take a penny, leave a penny tray at the local gas station, and you get somebody walking up and they 25 cents short, they're just gonna scoop that whole thing out, right? It's all gone. There's no way that thing is gonna have enough liquidity to stay solvent throughout the week. No. But if you have a gigantic swimming pool full of pennies and you can take a penny, leave a penny, then it's more likely that swimming pool will be there because of the sheer amount of liquidity provided in the coins. And it's harder to drain it out. It's harder to manipulate it, and it's easier to refill it without it going to zero. The same thing can be said when it comes to an algorithmic stablecoin. If you don't have the capital liquidity, it's going to collapse. And especially if you don't have the reputation to bring in investors to pump in a crap ton of capital. And so it needs to be a big ass company or somebody with a ton of money, ton of capital on the back end to prop up the manipulation attacks. Because that's essentially what it means. Whales are going to play whale games. Whales are going to try to take advantage of the system. That's it. They're going to do it.
And that's not just crypto, guys. That happens everywhere.
Yeah. If I have $1 billion and somebody comes up to me and they're like, hey, there's this stable coin over here. If you just put 10 million on this side and then you put 10 million on that side and you just put it and you buy and sell in this order, you're going to make $2 million. It's all legal, by the way. And Christmas is coming up. You got to pay some bonuses. Oh, okay, cool. That's all I got to do. Not very much risk. Okay, cool. I'll do it.
Robin, David Bumblebee brought up a good point. Is anyone else concerned that Cardano has decided to release an algo stablecoin that is supposed to be 4 to 8 times backed? Honestly, when I heard, my heart saying we don't need another Luna with ADA. So Jed was actually supposed to launch a lot earlier, but it got postponed because of Luna.
Well, I want to say, okay, so what happened with Luna? Luna's collapse was essentially because at its core level, the blockchain, the layer 1 blockchain that is Terra Luna, was balanced 1-to-1 on transferring Luna to USD. Was it USDT? UST. Yeah, that's what it was. So UST conversion to Luna. That was part of the baseline code. There's no getting around it. It was like it was as fundamental as mining Bitcoin and the halving cycle on Bitcoin's network.
Let me just explain real quick. So let's just say UST, the stablecoin, got to $1 and a penny. The arbitrage would be there, and to get it back to $1, you would mint Luna, and in turn that would burn UST and vice versa.
And that's how the code for Terra Luna
opposite. My bad. You would burn
either way.
UST
You're stabilizing the price of the dollar by buying and selling. You're buying and selling the pair UST.
Burn Luna, mint UST. Sorry, my bad.
The pair UST and Luna, they want to keep the UST at $1. It goes up or down. You sell and buy in opposite fashion. That's it. Very simple. But it's at the baseline code. Now the other projects that have algorithmic stablecoins, it's not part of their baseline code. So you have an offshoot, you have a side chain, you have a different protocol that isn't one-to-one removing the price or removing the price of a token or burning. They're not going to burn Cardano. And so the algorithmic stablecoin, if we're going to go back to our swimming pool of pennies again, as an example, the pool of pennies have nothing to do with the company or the gas station. It's completely separate. It has no affiliation with it. And so the money that backs the algorithmic stablecoin is a separate pool of money they put in, which is 4 to 8 times the market cap of the project that's there already. And so if a doomsday scenario were to happen, whatever the market cap is of the Jeb stablecoin, that is the only thing that can get collapsed. It has nothing to do with Cardano. It's not baked into the coin, the Cardano. And that's how you have, that was the problem with Terra Luna, was the fact that it was influenced by the price of Luna and vice versa. That and manipulating one did together. Now, so the algorithm, you're still incentivized, but all you're doing is you're taking to arbitrage to keep the price stable. You're just taking from that pool that is the pool of pennies or the pool that's set aside for Jeb, which is their 4 to 8 times collateral. So if they're trading, say, $5 billion worth of Jeb token, they have 20 to $40 billion that is in a pool that stabilizes that price. That price. That's how it works. So that's why there's no counterparty risk to ADA in the Jeb protocol, or at least that's how it's been broken down from my research. So there you go.
Well, I haven't looked into the how exactly it's going to be. JED is going to be, formulated in terms of its relation to Cardano. But we know that with Luna, when UST depegged, people went to burn UST, but in turn that minted Luna. And so you were supposed to be able to turn your Luna in for the money, but Luna kept diving and the inflation was insane. And so that's why the whole thing collapsed. But all right, let's move on. Grayscale, which is at $8, $7 and some cents. They may liquidate their 600,000 Bitcoin holding following the SEC opposition ETF. This title and headline was a little confusing, so I highlighted some important parts here. Let me make this a little bigger for you guys. All right. Grayscale Investments may offer to buy up to 20% of GBTC shares. This is a move the company hopes will close the gap between the share price and the company's underlying Bitcoin holdings. Right now, the discount NAV is 48% the discount. So, letter by Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein urging that Grayscale would consider issuing a tender offer should the SEC and shareholders give their approval for the spot ETF or their approval for this 20% offer to buy and close that gap. He said, quote, in the event we are unsuccessful in pursuing options for returning a portion of the capital to shareholders, we do not currently intend to dissolve GBTC, but would instead continue to operate it without an ongoing redemption program until we are successful in converting it to a spot Bitcoin ETF. Grayscale filed its, and if you guys remember, there was a lawsuit that they filed after the last rejection from the SEC. They filed their opening brief against the SEC on October 11th of this year, which the SEC filed a brief on December 13th. And now it is up to Grayscale to respond. They have until January 13th of next year. After that, a 3-judge panel will be selected to listen to oral arguments and rule on the case. This could take months, if not years. Rob, it seems like the only option, the only thing they're kind of like hedging their bet on is a spot ETF.
Well, here's the thing. The trust is trading at around 50% off.
Yeah.
And just by sheer common knowledge, common sense here, it says, hey, you're buying an asset half off, there's got to be a problem, right? If you walk into Sears, I know they're not around anymore, but you walk into Sears and everything's 50%
Gary
off.
talked about Sears yesterday.
Yeah, I know. But Sears is 50% off. The entire store. They're probably going to go under, right? They're liquidating. There's a reason everything's off is priced at that price. Especially if millions of people are trading Bitcoin at a certain price. Millions of people. So there's a market for it. People are ready to buy it. But yet you have one company selling it at half off. That's a problem. That means there's some underlying issues. This interview was actually pretty interesting. I had watched it in its entirety. So he was on the Yahoo. This was actually the one here. I'll actually pull it up.
Sun and Shine?
Yeah. And then can you unmute my mic? I mean my laptop. Turn it up. Volume's all the way down. All right. And
to give cash back to the people who are holding the trust.
Ultimately, an ETF, a spot Bitcoin ETF here in the US, is a matter of when, not a matter of if. And so if there is no legal clarity, if there is no regulatory clarity, we will continue to pursue the spot Bitcoin ETF, and eventually investors will get what they've been so patiently waiting for.
Okay, I know you've been pushing for this for a long time here. At the same time that all this is going on, there was an investor that filed a lawsuit against Grayscale called Fir Tree, which is called for more transparency.
I'll leave it at that. But in this,
This was from when?
this was yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. So he's basically saying that it's on the table, and he wasn't threatening. I think from the gist of it, it was that he was trying to calm the fears of investors that, hey, if this ETF doesn't go through, there might be bankruptcy. I think he's basically saying, like, look, worst case scenario, we're going to look for buyers of Bitcoin if ever, if we don't get out of this. I think that's where you're saying. He's saying that, hey guys, we're fine. We're not going to be underwater. Your Bitcoin's safe.
Because the investors are now saying, hey, let us at least redeem the Bitcoin and hold the asset. And they're saying no. So, of course, they're trying to pass a spot ETF. Is Grayscale, like, are you looking at 50% discount as, man, this is a great time to get in? Or are you looking at, hey, this is way too risky, man?
I just, why would you touch it? Here? Okay, here's my way of looking at it, right? So the premium on buying Grayscale's trust during the bull market was around 20 to 30% above the price. And so in 2020, 2021, there was all kinds of people saying, hey, I'm going to buy Grayscale. I don't have to custody it, whatever. I pay a premium. I pay 20%. They do the job for me, right?
Yeah.
So if you're buying at a discount right now, let's say you buy it at 50% off. What do you think the premium is going to be? You're going to think you're going to make all this money, right? Now, remember, you also have yearly fees that go on with this as well. It's not a one-time buy only. Basically, you're paying out of pocket for them to custody your crypto, right? Essentially. And so you buy it at a premium now. So let's just say you pay 40%, you get 40% off to buy it now. When the price goes up, when it's time to sell, because you're not going to buy it now and sell at 20,000, right?
Hell no.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you buy now at the price it is now, at the rebate that it is now, when you go to sell it, the premium is going to be on the other end. And so you're going to mitigate whatever gains you have. Maybe you'll go up by a little bit. Maybe the percentages will be a little bit more advantageous, but you're taking on risk. You're taking on risk and you don't have the liquidity to sell it whenever you want. And so if you get 40% off now, you're going to pay 40% more when you go to sell it when Bitcoin's at 90,000, right? Bitcoin's at 90,000. The trust, the premium, is going to be a lot higher. It's going to be 20, 30% on the other end. And so whatever money you saved buying it, you're going to end up shelling it out when it's time to sell. And so this idea that you're getting it at half off, no, you're getting it half off when the price is low and you're going to pay more when the price is high. So I think it's pointless to buy this damn asset. Just go buy it your damn self and put it on a hardware wallet.
You know, Forrest brought up a good point. And of course, this is not financial advice. But he said, if you think the discount rate will close, long GBTC and short Bitcoin to play the discount rate closing. Interesting. Very interesting. Guys, that'll do it for the show today. Make sure to go check out our social media. We're extremely active on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. The rest of our social links are in the description of this video. Also, Go check out our merch store. The Don is giving you an offer you cannot refuse. 10% off to everyone on the merch store, not just Sin City merch, but also other general crypto merch as well. Go join our Community Rand Discord. And also, what else, Rob?
Do gotta give a couple hellos before we sign off. We got a few new people in the chat. We got Angela Biles, we got Glenn Stockley, Hack Williams, and then who else? I saw somebody else in there. Darren Orange. Hola, welcome, Sin City Crypto.
All right, Kyler. Gotta wait for the tornado, man. Friends, family, friends, and family, friends. We thank you guys so much for joining us on this Wednesday. On behalf of myself, Tyler, and Robin, Rocco, if you're still watching, happy birthday to our community. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Until then,
we'll have a pastry waiting for you, Rocco. Courtesy of Marky Mark. And another big shout out to Crypto Billy. $50, man. You over here making it rain, man. We love it, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody in the chat.
It's so much fun being a part of it. It was dope.
Great, bro. Good job today, Kyler, by the way. Kyler's obviously filling in for Rocco for the next 2 weeks or so. So, good job, bro.
Say something funny in the chat. I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Down.